Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Soulfullpreneur Talk Radio with your hosts Archelaus and Crandlemire. Merging spirituality and business on the Enlightenment Evolution Network.
Hey everybody, it's Archelaus here with Crandlemire.
Hello.
And little Bucky was just sniffing at the microphone, so he is here too. Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome to Soulfullpreneur Talk Radio. It's December 16th already. Megan's birthday is in a couple days.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, and today we're talking about gifts to give the people that you love. Most of them are very practical, down-to-earth kinds of stuff. A lot of spirit involved here, but also, you know, just really nice things that you could do for other people and things that we love in our lives. So we can't wait to share that list with you. You can join us if you have your own suggestions or if you want to tell us about a gift that you've gotten that you really enjoyed. And our phone number is 347-308-8788. And to speak, if you want to talk to us, just press 1 when you get on the phone. Our chat is also open. If you're on Blog Talk, you can log in and talk to us that way. So yeah, we can't wait to get started. But first, we're going to tell you about our other shows that are on this network. We're part of a network called Enlightenment Evolution, and they put together some really great shows all about metaphysics and spirituality. And you can find out all of our shows on YouTube, Network Enlightenment on YouTube, and also on Facebook if you search Enlightenment Evolution Network. Tomorrow, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with Rob Gothier. He's the creator of all of this, and he channels a being called Treb who takes your questions, and you can call in and also talk to all the wonderful guests that he has.
Great. And then Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Philip Malika's Consciousness Evolution Hour, and he discusses a wide range of metaphysical topics from the perspective of the fifth dimension. And you can find him on Facebook at Consciousness Evolution 2.0 group, and also he's on YouTube if you search Philip Malika.
And Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the Earth Experience with Kalina Angel, and she explores our soul's expansion through our human experiences on Earth.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have Victoria Vives Wong, and she hosts Earth Sky People Radio, your bridge between heaven and earth. And she talks about living in oneness with one another, with Mother Earth, and with life beyond Earth.
Saturday night at midnight Eastern, we have a new show called Disclosure Now with the Pied Piper and Texas Rebel.
And then Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have The Resonance Intention, hosted by Soul and Neil Gower.
And Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have About Oneness with Karen Newman. And her show is all about celebrating the ongoing conscious awakening of our planet and our realization of oneness and unconditional love. And Karen is an author, a lecturer, an integrated channel, and intuitive.
Mondays at 10:30 Eastern, we have Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton. And Daniel talks about topics such as the shift, ETs, global events, channeling, toning, and sound healing. And he opens the phone lines to callers, and he often has guests as well. And Daniel is a channel, a Reiki master, and a sound healer.
Yeah, and I will be on Daniel's show sometime in January, so when I know the date, I will let you know.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah. And any opinions expressed on Soulfullpreneur Radio by us or our guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Enlightenment Evolution Network.
Super.
Yeah. so today's exciting. You know, not everyone is Christian and celebrates Christmas, but a lot of people do. And even if you don't, this time is a really, you know, there's kind of like gift giving in the air. You know, it's even if it's Hanukkah, even if it's Festivus, even if it's Kwanzaa, you know, there's this air of generosity that goes around these days, and it's fun to participate in.
Yeah, and then there's December birthdays. So
December birthdays.
Which can sometimes be forgotten, but that's a whole other topic.
Oh.
I used to not like my birthday when I was younger because it was so close to Christmas, and you know, people didn't really have time for it and all. But now I just can ask for bigger stuff from my husband and get combined gifts.
You should do half birthdays.
That's right. I could do that. Could be June special.
So Megan and I have both made lists of things that we think you would appreciate to hear about. We have subscription gifts. We have gifts for the home office, for your home, for the kitchen, and even some things that don't cost any money. So, yeah, do you want to start, Megan? What do you think is your number one?
Ooh.
Do you want to start?
Oh, let me see. I'm looking at my list. My number one. Well, I love to cook, and so I feel that if there is one thing in your kitchen that you should have, it's a really good knife. And it's just something that you just can't cheap out on. People sometimes say to me, like, oh, well, that looks really sharp. Don't you cut yourself with that knife? And absolutely not. You cut yourself less, and I basically never do, when you have a good knife, because I think the issue is when you have kind of a dull knife, you're slipping on your food. You're not, you know, cutting through, or, you know, skins on an apple or something, you know, your knife can slip. So I personally really like Henkel's knives. I grew up with those, and that's something I give, like, as a wedding gift. I'll give, you know, a full set of those, but sometimes even just to purchase one good knife for somebody, just research out there, and if you kind of know the style of their food, if they, you know, do a lot of fish and they need like a fillet and knife, you know, you could do that, or if they're really into bread, you get them a serrated knife, but there's so many. But that's my recommendation for the kitchen.
That's really fabulous. Now, do you sharpen your knives?
My husband does that for me, because that's, you know, we've got the nice rod, and he does it with such style and flair, and I absolutely know that I can turn it into a butter knife with one or two swipes. Because if you don't, but there's good electric sharpeners out there too, so I've heard good things about that. But since I have my husband around, he sharpens, and that is important to keep up on that. So sometimes I'll just let him know. I'll just set them out and be like, these need sharpening.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't connect when I first got good knives, because I'd always had such really crappy knives growing up, and that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And when I finally had a good knife, I was like, oh my God, this is revolutionary, right? Because, you know, especially if you're someone that eats a lot of vegetables. I mean, I am constantly chopping vegetables, and, you know, the difference between having a good knife and a bad knife, like with a sweet potato or a carrot, is just huge.
Yeah, and then something like a turnip, you can't do it at all.
Exactly. But I didn't at first realize that you had to sharpen them, you know, and I was like, God, these suck too. But I learned. So it's funny.
And do you have an electric sharpener, or do you do the by hand?
No, we've got like a little stone sharpener, you know, the pass-through kind. I think partially because it's portable enough to take camping.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, speaking of knives and camping, I just have to mention this. We have this knife that's in our camping stuff, and it's in a packet. I think it's actually made by Coleman or something, and we joke every time. We don't camp anymore, but to this day, we always joke about that knife, because on the packaging it says it cuts through bone. And it's just so gross to me. Like, and I'm not a vegetarian. I wish I was, but I wasn't raised that way. But so to this day, you know, when we're talking about knives or something comes up, I'm like, oh, does it cut through bone? So.
That's funny.
Yeah.
See, that's like the kind of thing, those little inside jokes that keep couples together.
Absolutely. Anyway.
Yeah, so to add to the kitchen stuff, I have to say that since moving to Phoenix, I've signed up for this service called Nature's Garden Delivered, and it's, an organic local food delivery, and I get it every week. It's always on my doorstep on Friday morning when, I wake up and go see what did I get this week. It's fantastic, and I've never tasted fresher food except, going to the farmer's market. And I know it's not available everywhere, but if you're in a big city, if you are in a place where there are a bunch of people that you can even start something like this. I know that somebody in Houston, gosh, I don't remember her name at the moment, but she calls herself Fully Raw Christina. She created a raw food co-op all by herself. In college, I think she was. So it's something that can really add to the quality of your life. And it's something that connects you to the seasons because, the food is local, so it has to be seasonal. And even Eric loves it. He could kind of care less about what kind of vegetables I bring home. But the best thing about Nature's Garden Delivered is that you get to pick what's in your box. So you can go online before your box is shipped and swap things out. I don't eat a lot of apples, and most of the time in your default box there'll be 5 pounds of apples. And so I swapped them out for bananas and more Swiss chard and so on. So if you have a spouse or a loved one who is in a big city and they like fresh food, see if there's a service like this and get it for them, because it would definitely be appreciated.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know we don't have anything quite like that in Connecticut. There's the farm co-ops, but that sounds terrific. If I was in a city, I would totally take advantage.
Yeah. Yep. I know there are, there's one in Orlando, there's one here, there's one in Houston, Dallas, probably all over California because there's a lot of farming there. Just look around, see if it's available.
That's awesome. Well, so speaking of those veggies, then you get that big thing of veggies, and after a while you get tired of just sautéing or chopping them up. I discovered a couple of years ago through a friend something called a spiralizer, and the one I bought was Padermo World, I think it is, and you can get it on Amazon, and it's about $35. But it will spiralize, and it will make like spaghetti. Like if you have a zucchini, you can put this on the spiralizer and spin it around, and you get like noodles, but they're made out of zucchini. And you can spiralize sweet potatoes and make like really cool French fries where you come out and you put a little olive oil on them and bake them. And so it's a really fun way to eat your veggies in a different way. I know you got one of these too, right, Rachel?
Yeah, just a couple months ago. And we used it to spiralize zucchini because zucchini came in our box, and so we wanted to try it out. And it's really cool. It's absolutely fun, and talk about eating vegetables in a new way.
Yeah, it's different. And if you Google spiralizer recipes, there's people that are coming up with really creative ideas. So it's another thing. A spiralizer is a great gift. I actually gave those last year. Like when I get something new in the kitchen and I really love it, then everybody at Christmas time gets what I found out. And so my parents got one last year, and my mother-in-law got one, and they both enjoyed it, especially in the summer with their gardens.
Yeah. Yeah, in Connecticut, there's an awful lot of zucchini that comes out of the gardens because it's easy to grow.
Yes, I think I remember you coming over one summer and me sending you off with 5 pounds of zucchini.
Yeah, so. And it's super easy to clean. It looks a little intimidating in the box, but it's not. It's easy to just rinse off, and I think it's dishwasher safe.
Yep, I just do hot water. Yep, rinse it off. So yeah, it's great. It's great.
Cool. Well, this is kind of sad. My boyfriend just emailed me, and he said that our baby kitten was a little depressed this morning, and she wouldn't eat her little fish vitamin.
Oh, my.
I know. But speaking of Eric, he gets a delivery of Blue Bottle coffee every 2 weeks, and he is in love with it. Back when I used to drink coffee, I was quite the coffee snob, and unfortunately I turned him into one too, and he says that Blue Bottle has the best coffee. So if you love a coffee lover or you are one yourself, it's a really cool gift because every 2 weeks or whenever you set your delivery schedule, it'll come in the mail in a nice little box, and it'll give you a little, it's like a little card, and it'll show you where the coffee comes from and what it tastes like, and it's kind of like getting a little present every 2 weeks.
That's awesome. So it's called Blue Bottle?
Yeah, Blue Bottle coffee.
And do you get whole beans, or is it ground, or you can probably get either?
I think you can only get whole beans.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, so double check.
Okay.
And I know that you can choose from a single coffee origin or blended or espresso. And right now he's getting the espresso beans. He loves them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
From the French press, right, Megan?
Yes, the French press. So, yeah, we were Keurig fans for a couple of years, but we went through 2 of them. They didn't really last very long for us. We got, 12 months out of one and another maybe 14 months out of another. And last Christmas, as our Keurig was dying, I thought, I think my husband would really enjoy a French press. So I researched a bit. I ended up choosing Bodum. That's the one it was on. I buy everything on Amazon. So I don't like to leave the house. I don't like them all. And so we got this French press, and that's it. We will make a couple of pots on the weekend when the 3 of us are drinking coffee. Otherwise, it's just my husband and daughter in the morning as they head for work and school, and they make one big thing of it and split it. But it's such good coffee. We really enjoy it. And we don't miss that whole Keurig and the cost of the pods. We buy the ground coffee, usually actually from Dunkin' Donuts in our area. But I may be trying this Blue Bottle coffee. You're kind of selling me on that, and that could be a good little stocking stuffer for Jeff.
Yeah, it's. I've tasted it, and it tastes good. Though I can't really get the full effect unless I had drank a cup. But that would send me spiraling over the edge of heartbeatedness. And
oh yes. Well, I'm a decaf girl. I can't handle any caffeine, but yeah, the French press has been great. And, I thought that there were like health issues with using a French press. So before I bought it, I started reading, and really there isn't. I think, I don't know what was out there for a while, but there was a lot of misinformation. The only thing that I recall that was, maybe a concern was, believe it or not, cholesterol. That it can slightly raise your cholesterol, but we're all very low in this family, and I think you'd have to drink a lot of coffee to, rattle your cholesterol level with it. But as far as I know, it's healthy as can be.
And if you think about the alternative, what do you get otherwise? You have to send that hot water through a whole bunch of plastic.
Yeah.
So
yep,
you have a drip system, or you're using the pods. That's a lot of plastic and a lot of hot water and a lot of leaching of chemicals. So
yeah, and the filters, like if you have the paper filters and you don't know what that's treated with. So now you're just dumping the hot water right in with the grounds, give it a stir, let it sit a few minutes, and you've got really nice coffee. And
I found at least that the French press tasted hands down way better than any other method I've tried.
Yep, I agree.
The clover at Starbucks. I heard that's like a high-end way to get your coffee, but other than that, I think French press actually made coffee taste really good.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
there's lots of cool ones. I started with a Bodum too, and now Eric has a stainless steel one, and it's really nice and insulating. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it doesn't stay so warm in the glass. But it doesn't make that much, so we tend to just make another pot of it, so it doesn't really get cold because we drink it right away.
Mhm.
So any other one food item, since we're in the kitchen, it's something you introduced me to was, and it would be a great gift if someone gave this to me, is the Spring Dragon Longevity Tea. I love that.
Yeah, by Ron Teagarden.
Yeah, Ron Teagarden. If you search on Amazon, of course. I buy a 2-pack there, and they even have it where you can set up a subscription, and they can ship it to you as often as you like, every month or every other month. But, it's called Spring Dragon Longevity Tea, and it's their tagline, it's the healthiest tea on earth, and I can't pronounce the tea. It's Gynostemma.
Yeah, Gynostemma.
Gynostemma, yeah. And it's some super potency tonic herbal tea. One little pack makes like a full pot of tea. I have like a cute pewter teapot, and so I can get 3-4 mugfuls of tea. So I can sip on this all day, just from one tea bag. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I actually just bought a box. I was just in Sedona for 4 days, and I went to their local raw restaurant, and they sell it there. So I bought a box while I was away too.
Yeah.
It's so good, and it's naturally sweet. There's no stevia in it. There's no honey or sugar, but it tastes the Gynostemma, I guess. And there are a few other herbs in there. It's just sweet. It's delicious.
Yep. I really like it. And I'm looking at the box now because I brought it in my office, and it's dragonherbs.com if you want to go read more about them.
Very nice. Very good.
So should we get out of the kitchen and go into the living room?
Well, I have one more thing.
Oh, sure.
It's a small thing, though, and it's a glass water bottle. Yeah, before I moved to Phoenix, my sister bought me one, and the company is BKR. I guess you can say beaker,
Yep.
And it's just glass on the inside, and then there's a silicone shell that wraps around it so that if you drop it, it won't break. And I have dropped it, and it didn't break. And on the top, it screws on, and then there's a loop. That's one unit. It's, a loop and the screw thing is all in one. And that way I can put it on my pack if I'm hiking or on my belt. And it's super convenient. I take it everywhere with me. I fill it up before I leave the house. And it eliminates the whole plastic water bottle situation. I can put my good water in it from my fridge, and it's really great. I know it's not revolutionary, but it's such a nice and thoughtful thing. And I've gotten some since I've been here in Arizona at Whole Foods, and they sell them too. They're a little bit of a different shape. I don't know what brand it is. On the bottom of it, it says UK on serve, and it's just cute. So I think that's a great, thoughtful gift for anybody.
Yeah, they're really pretty, too, with all the different colors that the silicone comes in.
Yeah.
And so they're practical and kind of pretty and sporty. I know some people at the gym use them, and, yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so living room us up.
Yeah, or we can be walking from the kitchen into the living room, but we can look on our wall. You can talk about your idea, because I love the living wall, which kind of brings the kitchen alive. Yeah.
And also, if you want to call us and tell us your favorite gifts to get or to give, you can call us 347-308-8788. And if you're on the phone and you want to speak, then just press 1 and I'll pick up. All right, so this is actually an idea that I got from my sister and her husband. I think I still call him her boyfriend sometimes. But he has a really green thumb, and they live in a pretty tight condo. So all of their surfaces are covered with plants. But then if you look on their wall, they have a living wall with plants, and it's just so pretty. And if you're like me and Megan and you have cats, and of course cats are going to eat all of your house plants, then why not go up? Megan has her little air plant on a magnet on her whiteboard, and I've got a perfectly open wall that I can start filling up with some greenery. It's going to smell great. It's going to look great. It's going to provide you with all of those negative ions that'll make your body a lot healthier. And I'm excited. I can't wait to start doing that.
That's awesome. And I would think that depending on the amount of light and time of year that you could grow some herbs there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I would be interested in. Is it'd be really nice to have, some basil or some rosemary or something growing right there in the kitchen on the wall, and just go over and snip.
Definitely. Yeah, and on that theme, you can grow some edible flowers, and just as you're walking by, have a little snack.
That's right. You
that sounds so much fun.
Eat the artwork.
Yeah, and I was actually on Amazon the other day looking at the different styles that they have, and they kind of sell them in panels, so there are many different styles and colors, and you can get whatever you want, but you can grow it over time. So you can get, one panel might have little 4 cavities for plants, and then just keep adding on as you like it, as you find a style that you enjoy. And yeah, I think it could be a great hobby.
That's awesome. I love that idea. I don't have a ton of wall space in the house that we're in right now. It's super open. I always call the back of the house, it's like a bowling alley, but but maybe I could find a little nook somewhere. So that's great.
Yeah. And why don't we talk about where we went in Brooklyn together?
Yeah, that was fun. You just mentioned that I have this little air plant, which some people listening might not even know what that is. But we went to this place called Sprout, and it was in Brooklyn, New York, and their website is sprouthome.com. And they do beautiful terrariums there and just beautiful different kinds of glass and shaped glass and things that you can hang or put on a table. And they had all sorts of plants there, including air plants. And they're pretty low maintenance. It's this little plant that's got a little root. They're kind of wiry, I'd say. They're kind of a stiffer plant, and they just can sit on a plate or just even on your desk if you want. If you have a cat, it could become a hockey puck. So, but it's this plant, and just once a week you need to put it in water, just kind of immerse it for about 30 minutes. Then you take it out and you put it on a paper towel and let it dry out, and then you just set it out again. And it's so unique. It's just different. So, I got one. It's a really small baby one. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and we'll put it on the Facebook page. But this is a baby house plant, and this woman in Newtown, it's actually Cider Mill Designs, did it, and she had a wine cork, and she just carved out the cork a bit, and the plant kind of sits inside, and then there's a magnet glued on the back. So I just put it on my whiteboard, so I get to have a plant without the cat batting it all around the house.
And it's so adorable, too.
Yeah, it's sweet. So that's our idea of terrariums. And I went on Sprout today just doing a little research here, and it looks like they sell like really pretty simple starter terrariums, like even like $35. You can get a really beautiful glass bowl with everything you need to build it up. So I think that would be a really thoughtful gift for someone. Yeah,
I got my sister and her husband that for their wedding present. I got them the dry goods of it and some stones that they could use to represent themselves, and I figured they could build their little garden together, and it would be symbolic of them building their life together, and then they could pick out the plants and have them grow. And so it's a great gift for couples, for weddings, but also just for someone who wants to do a little bit of meditation. And it's quite fun, and you can really get lost in the placement of everything because they're so small. Yeah, it's very. You can even use one as a fairy garden. Do whatever you want with them. Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. Makes me want one now. I know. I just have my little tiny air plant, but I think if I got the right terrarium that wasn't too cat accessible, yeah, I could have one. So. Yeah. Yeah, and if you're in the area, go check out the store because it's really beautiful. Yes, Sprout. If you just Google Sprout in Brooklyn, it comes right up, and it's a fun little area. Remember, we found that really cool coffee shop kind of down, and the cool hair salons and just different shops and antiques and handmade jewelry. It was a really fun area. Definitely worth an afternoon. It was gorgeous. Yeah, it was. It was. That coffee shop was too cool for us, though. You think? Yeah. I think we fit in. It was fun. Yeah, it was. It was. So,
So another favorite thing that I got this year was my Himalayan salt lamp, and I just love it. I got one that's it's several pounds. It's probably about 8 inches in height, and it's a chunk of sea salt, and it's pink, and it's rocky and bumpy, and it's got a little area carved out on the bottom side of it, and it's set on a wood piece, and there's a cord with a small light bulb, almost like an old-fashioned Christmas light bulb that's just put in the underneath, and you click it on, and the whole block of salt illuminates, and it's super beautiful.
I remember when you got that, we were at Touch of Sedona in Ridgefield, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're really nice, and they do sell them online as well, and you can find them at local spiritual shops, and yeah, but they're really nice, and
they're not even that expensive.
No, I mean, depending on the size, I think they're anywhere from like $40 to $70, something like that.
Yeah, I actually got a mini one at New Morning Market in Woodbury in Connecticut, and it's a USB plug, so it's only about 5 inches tall, and I think it was around $25, but it plugs into my computer. So whenever my computer's on, it's just plugged in, and it's got a little LED light in the bottom, and it's beautiful.
Aw,
yeah.
That's nice.
And they do taste like salt.
Yes. My daughter's friends will come over, and a lot of them haven't seen one before. Like, what is that? And she'll tell them it's a salt lamp. What? So she said, lick your finger, touch the lamp, taste your finger. Like, sure enough, it's super salty. So, so we have somebody that comes about every 6 weeks to help clean the house, and I always put this away because I'm afraid they'll take a damp rag and it'll just melt down to nothing. So yep, do not apply water.
Yeah, I remember the first time my cat was on my desk, and she was really curious about it, and she licked it, but just for a second, So if you have cats and you're worried about that, I think the cats are smart enough to know not to go to town on it.
Yeah.
But she certainly did give it a try. So.
Yeah. And if they need salt, like bunny rabbits need salt,
mm-hmm.
they know that it's there for them. So yeah, that was a favorite. And another thing that came from a spiritual shop that was a gift from my husband for me last year for my birthday is he had heard me talk about the crystal singing bowls, which are super beautiful. And so he took me over to, where did we go? One of the places, what's the one in, Mother Earth in Brookfield, Connecticut. And they have a really nice selection of the quartz white crystal singing bowls. And I got that, and I love having it in the house. And it was really a beautiful gift. And it was something that I used when I taught the psychic development beginners class in Newtown. I played my bowl before every guided meditation. And it's just very clearing for a room and makes a beautiful sound. So that was another idea for a gift for somebody if you have someone who might enjoy that. And
it's beautiful to look at, too.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect. You know, it's so smooth, and it's just this white quartz. I don't know how they make them. It's all polished on the inside, and then you get your little wand there that you rub around the outside of it to make the sound, and you really play with it. You can get it super loud or keep it soft. It's nice.
Yeah. Could you get it? Can we hear it?
It's actually in its box right now. So.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. It
has a little too cold.
Well, that and the new cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should have a show where you play for us.
I will. Absolutely. That's a great idea. And you have a beautiful singing bowl, and it's metal. Tell us about yours?
Yeah, nice. So mine is a Tibetan singing bowl, and it's tiny. I have the tiniest one. I don't know if it's supposed to be a note, because I know for the quartz bowls, they correspond to a note, right, and a chakra?
Chakra, yes. Yes.
And people actually can play them. Like Jennifer Zulli, the owner of Sound, she has songs where she can play, and gorgeous. Mine is a little copper bowl, and I don't know how it's going to sound, but I'll ding it.
Ooh.
That's the ding. And then if you can play it by rubbing the stick around,
yep,
it gets really high pitched, and it's cool. I don't do that now, but
it's nice to clear a room. Like if a room is feeling funky, or you just feel like something's there, or the mood is weird, it's nice to just play one of those bowls. I don't know.
Yeah, I hold it up over my head, and you can feel it really clearing out your aura, and kind of goes into your body. And sometimes I can imagine it, the waves of the sound going out to certain people or places and connecting me, and it's a really good tool for meditation and clearing.
Yeah, that's nice. And then we can also mention for gift ideas in that general realm, things like incense and incense burners. I know whenever I'm down at one of the local shops, like sometimes I'll go down, I'm just in the mood for a new little crystal or something, but I always pick up a couple of those incense sticks. They have such great ones, beautiful smells, and that's a really nice gift.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then you like the oils, right? The essential oils.
I love the oils. Yeah, I was always a big incense person too, but when I discovered the essential oils in the diffuser, I'm hooked. I put it in, I put a couple drops of oil and a little water in my diffuser every morning, and I just let it go all day. I get the water vapor in the room, which is great because it's so dry here, and I get the smell and all the properties of it too.
That's great. Yeah.
A doTERRA one, but you don't need a doTERRA diffuser. There's lots and lots out there.
Yeah, I just shopped for one. That's actually the gift this year that someone in my family is getting from me is one of the diffusers. And they have so many different shapes. They have the really modern ones to a little more traditional, and then some have lights, and some have, for like a night light at night, and some have timers, and there's so many features.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're awesome. And there's a lot of different companies that do the oils too.
Yeah.
So it's worth it it depends. Like, you have to be a little more careful if you're going to put the oil in your water and actually drink that. You want to make sure you're getting a good brand for that. But for the diffusers, I think it's just more about, I always like to read reviews, and just more of an oil that's going to last a long time and have that scent stay in the room for a while.
Yep, definitely. And the cool thing about essential oils is that when they're in the air, they're actually cleaning the air.
Yeah.
Most essential oils are antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial. So when you're, diffusing or using them as cleaning, they're actually cleaning in a way less harmful way than spraying Lysol or bleach around.
Mhm.
So I love it.
Yeah. Nice added benefit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it smells good. I'm a big smell person. I can't stand not having a great smell around me at all times.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So let's talk about living libations, since we're on the essential oil thing.
Sure.
Now, this is a Canadian company who is fiercely devoted to quality. I have never seen another company more researched and more dedicated and devoted to really bringing you like the clearest, best, most healthful products out there. And Nadine Artemis is the owner and the alchemist behind all the products there. They're all essential oil based, and she's got lots and lots of different applications for that too, like facial care and moisturizers and hair stuff, but also dental stuff. I only use their products on my teeth, and when I started doing it, my dentist actually noticed a huge difference too. I think it's because of the properties of the essential oils. When you're cleaning your mouth with things that are antibacterial and antimicrobial, and they go into your gums and into your cells, and they're making a difference down at a cellular level, it helps, because we have, I don't know the statistics of how much bacteria live in our mouth, but it's huge. It's crazy. So that's my weird and awkward plug for Living Libation.
And we don't get any money for any of these plugs. This is just us sharing.
Yeah, no, none of these are affiliate links or anything. So.
No, we're just sharing to share, just as the end of year show of favorite things. So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So Living Libations. Yeah,
they're Canadian, so it does take a little bit extra time to ship stuff here, but definitely worth the wait.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
She has lots of health articles, too, on why she creates the products that she creates, which is also really cool.
Well, maybe we can get her on the show next year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, she sounds amazing. So, and then, because there's no easy way to transition from Living Libations to puzzles, I'm just going to jump right in. And I was at my Powerful You networking group that I co-facilitate, and a gift idea of a puzzle came up, and it was actually a 3D puzzle. And I don't know, they've probably been around forever, and I've been living under a rock, but I did not know about 3D puzzles. And I just ordered one for my family, and they are amazing. They're beautiful. I ordered one, and it's a castle in Germany is what it's based off of, and it's got the super German name. It's Neuschwanstein Castle 3D jigsaw puzzle, and it has over 800 pieces to it, like foam-backed puzzle pieces. So I think there's a bit of a structure that you put up, and then the pieces go on it. But it makes this true castle, this 3D thing, and it looks like it's a couple feet, I don't know, 18 inches, maybe 20 inches or something, depth and height. And a friend of mine did this puzzle, and then with her family, and then her daughter ended up going over to Germany and was at this castle, and it apparently was just fascinating because the daughter knew it so well because it was, such a focused project to build this 3D puzzle. So there are tons and tons and tons of different 3D puzzles out there and designs, and there's Big Ben, and there's globes, and there's simpler ones for younger kids, and this one I think is more for adults with 890 pieces. Wow. So so that was my suggestion, is 3D puzzles. Check them out.
That sounds really fun.
It does. So
it's something you can do with the family.
Yeah, or just leave it on a table. A lot of times dining room tables don't get used very often, and it sounds like it's just something you can have sitting there, and then people, as they walk by, can chip away at it. So, I'm giving it to my parents, so hopefully, they don't get divorced fighting over the puzzle. I think it'll be all right, though.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I have on my list, besides the books that we're going to talk about, is just a little idea of giving your partner or a friend some time. We're often so immersed in our routines and in the way that we normally think and where we normally go that getting away from that can really shift your perspective and give you extra motivation and energy and just help you see more clearly. I know that's definitely true for me. And how great would it be if you offered to watch their kids or their pets, or, even send them on a little mini vacation. My boyfriend is so wonderful about watching the cats and cleaning the house when I'm away, and I couldn't be more grateful for that, because I definitely need time by myself outside of my routine to really refresh and think of new things and kind of renew my gratitude for what I already have.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's a great idea, just the offer, especially, if this time of year it just gets tough. There's so many different expenses and end of year and tax season's coming, and so why not just give somebody some time instead of, a monetary gift isn't sometimes necessary.
Yeah.
So I love it. I know, my dad can be hard to shop for. He's has very intellectual type hobbies, and I don't totally understand what he does with all of that. So a lot of times what I do for him, like at his birthday, is I make him his favorite meal, because my mom doesn't like eggplant and my dad does, and I make him a bunch of eggplant parmesans, and I package them up and freeze them, and that's what I give as a gift. And he loves it. He pulls them out over the next month or two, and so, yeah.
Yeah,
give my time, versus.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I make my dad a pumpkin pie every, his birthday is right near Thanksgiving, so either for one or the other, but it's kind of like, my way of saying thank you, and it's not necessarily something that I buy.
Yeah, that's nice. I think we saw a picture of that pie, didn't we?
Yes, yeah.
You go on our Facebook page and scroll down a month or two ago. There was a picture of the pie.
Mm-hmm. The pie.
So, awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we can move over to books if we want to talk about some of our favorite books and authors. If you're looking for a gift and maybe a book in a more, holistic, spiritual, metaphysical type topics.
Yeah, and these are things that you're going to want to put on your wish list too, because we have amazing authors coming up next year. We are beyond grateful, beyond thrilled to be talking to Julia Asante and Sonia Choquette.
Yeah.
Yay!
Two super special shows that we'll have in 2015. Julia Asante is the author of The Last Frontier. So if you look for that on Amazon, her book is there. And she is an amazing scholar. She's brilliant, and she's lovely to listen to. And she's also a medium and has been her whole life, but is much more public about that now. And she wrote this book, and we've mentioned it before. It's all about death and how death is looked at with different cultures, and life after death, or what is the afterlife. And because she has such a connection to the spirit world and with her mediumship, she's got really interesting information. So check out that book, The Last Frontier. Put that on your list. If someone asks you, what do you want for Christmas? Ask for that, because that's our book club book, February 10th, I believe.
Yeah, and it won an award from Nautilus Book Awards, and Publishers Weekly had this review. This is on the front of the book. It says, social historian Asante, who is also a medium, has penned what may be the most important book on the enigma of death since the groundbreaking work of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, an outstanding read. Those are fighting words, so...
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet, but I have it, and I'm just so excited to read it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And she even has a chapter all about how you yourself can make contact. If you have a loved one that you've lost and you want to talk to them, you have some questions, maybe you have an issue that you never got resolved, she's got a beautiful chapter all about how to make contact, and she has step-by-step suggestions on how to set up your room and how to set the environment. And it's really helpful. So, yeah, and then we have Sonia Choquette in April right now that we're tentative, got a date. She is joining us in 2015, but it sounds like it's going to be April. And she just wrote a new book called Walking Home, which is pretty amazing. It documented her journey through the El Camino, where she walked for, 30-something days, Rachel?
Yeah, a whole month. It was a really great book, too. I haven't read many of her books. I've read The Diary of a Psychic and then this one, and it's really well done. She takes you through her whole journey, but of course, as she's walking, she thinks of her life and her past and will bring in all these relevant issues and memories, and you kind of just get into her head for a whole month and go through this journey with her, and it's really remarkable. I'd highly recommend that you read it in advance of that show so that you can follow along in the conversation and ask her questions.
Yeah, so that's April 21st. Is that
that's
show
what got
Sonia
penciled? Yeah.
So her book is Walking Home. If you Google that or find that on Amazon. And then I thought, we'd mentioned we had Lisa Jones on last week, and her book, The Art of Living Happy, is a super nice book and would make a really sweet gift for someone. She has a nice story there. And then I really liked earlier in my journey when I was, looking into all sorts of stuff and resonating with amazing things like reincarnation and past life regression, the Michael Newton books, Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls. Both of those are pretty fascinating if you're interested in past life regression. They're pretty amazing.
Definitely. Yeah, those are always the books that I suggest to beginners because he covers so much ground in them, In
a gentle way, too. Mm-hmm.
Yep, very easy to read. I have never seen a copy that has not been underlined and highlighted,
Yeah.
There's something in there for everybody.
Yep. And then I like Dr. Brian Weiss. I like his books. He does a lot with the past life regression. His story is really interesting. If you Google Dr. Brian Weiss, he was a regular psychiatrist, doctor, analytical scholar type person who kind of stumbled into past life regression while working with a patient, and it opened his whole world into the spiritual and the other side, and he now dedicates his whole life to that work. So all of his books, he's written a ton of books, and he even wrote one with his daughter, but they're all really good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And if you know someone who's just opening up to the idea that there might be more than this physical world, then I really suggest buying them Animal Speak by Ted Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a super fun way to get into the thought that there's symbology and meaning to regular everyday things. And it's just such a great book to have on hand. I think almost everybody I know has one in their library, and I look at mine almost daily. And it's such a fun thing to do. If a new animal crosses your path or if you have a dream with an animal in it, you can look it up. When I was away, the first night that I was gone on Friday night, I had a dream that I was in my hotel, but that there were rats everywhere. And so the first thing I did when I got up, of course, is look up what does rat mean. And it was all about like going deeper into your journey and, pulling out, bigger meaning. And I was away to write my book, and so it was really fitting. And it just kind of it gave me validation, that what I was doing was the right time for it and everything. So it's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know about that dream. That's great. That's great. I actually don't have that book.
Oh, Megan.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I do. When animals come across my path, I always look them up. I just tend to look them up online, and there's a couple of sites that I like, and I just look for the symbology, and it's usually pretty darn accurate.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, and it's funny to think about the animals that are in regions, too. Like, the animals I see down here are very different from the normal animals in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to think that that's on purpose. Like in Connecticut, we see deer all the time, and deer are about, like, luring you into a new adventure. And maybe a lot of people in Connecticut are waking up and, finding their way, and kind of like what you did. You went on this new adventure into spirituality
a
couple of years ago. And here there's a lot of jackrabbits and ground squirrels, and I haven't looked them up yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you're supposed to be there, and slowly they will, cross your path when it's time.
Yep.
So any of those type of books are great gift ideas. And then just along that lines, you can give the gift of a subscription, like to something like Audible. Those are the books that you can listen to online or download them onto a device. And that would make a really nice gift for somebody who maybe doesn't totally have time to read all the time, but they're in their car commuting to work, and they can listen to books that way.
Yep. And Amazon Prime, we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The Lifesaver. You get free 2-day shipping, and they have all sorts of shows now that you can watch. I think we've me and Eric have watched a bunch of them, and they're quite good. They're original shows that you get to watch for free if you have Prime.
Rachel, have you watched Transparent?
I did, yeah, when it came out. It was great.
Oh my gosh, we started it on Sunday, and I think we watched like 9 episodes in a row, which was bad, and it was getting to be like 11:30 at night, and we were like, should we start another one? So, anyways, if you know someone who doesn't have Prime, I would just give that just so they can have access to that show, Transparent, because it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's different. You have to be open, but really fun.
Yeah,
so.
It's very real.
Yeah.
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 You could identify with the characters, I think.
Yeah. So, anyway, well, awesome.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground. We probably went way too fast for everyone. But I want you to know that all of this stuff will be written out on the blog within a couple hours. So if you liked any of these ideas, but you don't remember what they're called, just go over to Soulfullpreneur.com, and I will have everything up there for you.
Yeah, that'll go up on the previous show's page, right? So
mm-hmm.
You just click on that link, and that'll take you over. And if you want to ask us any questions, if you're listening to it and you want to just hop onto Facebook and ask a question there, we will answer those today as well.
Yeah. So, Megan, do you know what is the best gift that you've ever gotten?
Uh-oh. I'm not good at... Yeah. I'm not good at a question like that. I've gotten some really, really nice things over the years. I don't know if I could easily pick. My daughter picked the Alex and Ani bracelets for me a couple of years ago, and she chose 2, one at my birthday and one at Christmas. And each of the little symbols on the bracelet were just so meaningful. And it was really at a time when I was going through a lot of my transition and the spiritual awakening, and it was so thoughtful that she got that, and she was supportive, even if she didn't quite understand what was going on, and even if I didn't quite understand what was going on. But I'd say that was really one of my most special gifts.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah, how about you?
Well, there have been many meaningful gifts and wondrous things, but one of the most life-changing was when I first started dating Eric. He had made me an offer that I could go back to school full-time and quit my part-time job, and he would, basically pay the rent and all the bills and even buy me food. And I was hesitant to do it because I really wanted to visit my friend, Kat, who had moved to California. And she moved about 10 years earlier, and I'd seen her every single year. I'd gone to go visit, and I didn't want to give that up. And so he knew that. He figured that out. And he made me and him a trip to go visit her for New Year's so that I could go back to school and finish my degree.
Wow.
Yeah. And we'd only been together like 6 months, so
it
was really special. And yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. And wow, what a gift of letting you have time to further your education. Like, boy, yeah. That's thoughtful.
That was major.
Yeah.
That happened every day.
That's great. Well, good. Well, I can't believe an hour went by that fast.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do want to give a little plug for my friend. Maya Cointreau owns a great store called Enchanted Realms in New Milford. It's up past the hospital, if you know what I'm talking about.
Up in Connecticut.
Yep, in Connecticut. And it's just a great place to buy gifts for everybody. I always used to shop there for Christmas, and I'm sad that I can't this year. But, yeah, definitely visit her. And Sound even has a little boutique in the front of their building. So buy local if you can, if it's convenient for you, and spread the money around where you know it'll make the biggest difference.
That's awesome. I love Enchanted Realms and Maya. That's great.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess we'll wrap up.
Yep.
We're part of the Enlightenment Evolution Network, and you can find out about all of our shows by searching Enlightenment Evolution Network on Facebook, or you can watch our archives on YouTube at youtube.com/ or /network enlightenment. And tomorrow's show is the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with Rob Gauthier. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can find out more about Rob and Treb at trebchanneling.com.
Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Philip Malika's Consciousness Evolution Hour, and he talks all about metaphysical topics from the perspective of the fifth dimension.
And Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the Earth Experience with Kalina Angel, and she explores our soul's expansion through our human experiences on Earth.
Saturdays at 1 p.m., we have Victoria Vives Wong, and she hosts Earth Sky People Radio, your bridge between heaven and earth.
And Saturday night at midnight Eastern is Disclosure Now with the Pied Piper and Texas Rebel.
And then Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have the Resonance and Tension hosted by Soul and Neil Gower.
Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern is About Oneness with Karen Newman, where she talks about our ongoing conscious awakening of our planet and our realization of oneness and unconditional love.
And then Monday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we have Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton, and he's a channeler and expert in energy work and toning and sound healing, and he has guests on and opens up the phone lines to callers. So
very cool. Oh,
yeah.
You want to mention one more thing I just remembered.
Sure.
I just got a new brush. I got a wooden brush, a bamboo brush.
Like a hairbrush?
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's so nice. It's, I always had one of those little plastic ones, and this one, I brush my hair more now just because it feels so good. It feels like a scalp massage. So, and
wow.
I just got it at Whole Foods.
And so it's the wood is bamboo, and then the bristles are something special? Or?
Bamboo, yeah.
Are bamboo the bristles?
They are, yeah.
Get out of town.
I'm serious. It's made
cool.
by Bath, and I just got it at Whole Foods.
That's cool.
It's nice.
When I was a teenager, my mother got me a brush, and I remember it was like boar hair bristle. Yeah. Forgot about that. I think it made my hair really staticky. So
yeah.
it's just vaguely coming.
About the bamboo is that the wood will actually hold your natural hair oils, and so when you brush your hair with it again, you'll get less static because your oil will be reinfused to your hair.
Cool.
It's not like it makes it's not oily, but it's that little bit of residue which helps.
Yeah. Well, great last minute idea there.
Yeah.
Bamboo brush. It's just fun to say that.
Bamboo brush. All right. Well, go forth and be merry, and we hope you have the best holidays. We are off until January, so it's been nice talking to you, and make sure you check out our archives and iTunes and Stitcher, and where else are we? Is that it?
And
Blog
YouTube.
Talk.
And YouTube.
And YouTube, yes. We're everywhere.
You can look for Soulfullpreneur anywhere. Okay, Rachel, it's been fun. I will talk to you in 2015.
Yes. All right. Lots of love, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm.